Alright guys, so here is the closet that we are going to be finishing out the shelving on. We previously renovated this laundry room, did the new barn door, but never have actually redone any of the shelving inside the closet. So the plan for the shelving in the closet is to do kind of a vertical area where we can put the vacuum and the broom and the mop, give us some vertical storage, and then have horizontal shelving up. I'll put a picture on the screen somewhere right here that'll show you the idea that I'm kind of going off of. But like I said, the plan will be to do a vertical piece here. We'll have vertical storage here that'll run up to about this height. We'll put all of our taller items there, and then we'll do horizontal shelves running up this side, and then some big horizontal shelves on the top. So got some pine from Menards that I'm gonna stain to match the barn door, and we'll start building it out. So follow along, I'll show you kind of what I'm gonna do, the trim I'm gonna use, and hopefully kind of transform this space to be more aesthetically pleasing as well as more useful. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so for wood, what we're going to be using for this project is I picked up a 1x16 by 8 foot piece of pine here, and then I've got just some 1x2s. So to kind of illustrate in that picture, I'm going to use for my shelving, as well as the vertical piece that's going to kind of create that separation between my vertical storage and my horizontal shelves. And then I'm going to cap the shelving and cap that vertical section with a 1x2 to kind of give it some thickness. So the first thing we'll do is we'll cut down this to our vertical section length, which I believe I'm going to do like 50 or 52 inches. And then I'm going to cut some of my 1x2s down for the support to go along the back wall and the side wall. And then we'll get to staining it. So alright guys, well, we got everything demoed out, came in here, got the shelves ripped out, got the brackets or the 1xs they were using for the supports tore out. Closet's completely opened up, so go in and do a little bit of drywall patching now for some holes, sand this smooth, give it a coat of paint, and then we'll start putting in our new brackets, new shelving. Alright guys, so we got all of the drywall repairs done, so now we're throwing down some sealer primer to cover up the patch job with where we did the drywall work, and then we'll get some final coat of white paint on here to get this ready for the shelving. Alright, so we're getting ready to kind of set this middle divider vertical piece in place. One thing I wanted to show you guys is I notched out the top of this board as well as notched out the bottom here, which is going to allow it to sit flush against the wall and then slide over the baseboard, and then up top it'll allow this to slide over the 1x2 that's going to fasten to the wall and be the support for the shelf. So once I get it in place here, I'll show you guys what that looks like. So here we are now. I got the 1x2s starting to lock those in for my shelving here. I'll step back so you can kind of see big picture. But so this top 1x2 is going to span the entire distance. That's going to be our top shelf. I've got that fastened in. I had to go all the way to the corners inside here just due to stud layout. There's no stud in the middle, so I had to anchor it all the way into the corner. That shelf won't carry the entire distance, but so the top is all locked in place, ready for that top shelf. The middle section just kind of sitting there for right now. I'm starting to lock in my lower shelves down here. Got the lower one, and then the middle one, I'll continue those 1x2s all the way around as I did over there. So just for kind of some dimensions, the top one is 54 inches to the top, and then I'm just splitting up the left side here kind of evenly. All right, so all of the 1x2 blocking is in for the shelves. As you can see, we have the left side shelves here, and then I added the top second full shelf that will go in. So this is kind of the final step before we actually start putting the shelves in. So this one's 54 inches, so that'll give me 54 inches of vertical space over here, and then I just separated the 3 shelves on the left hand side here. Went ahead and added just a corner, kind of a blocking piece there on all these corners. The stud layout on this closet doesn't have any horizontal or vertical stud here. It's just in this corner, so I'm gonna run a trim screw through those corner pieces there to grab that stud to anchor that corner. But other than that, everything's ready to go. We caught studs here, and then obviously studs in the corner there, and then that corner piece I was talking about. So next step is we'll get this vertical piece brought back in, we'll anchor it in, and then we'll start laying in the shelves. Here's one that I'll set in place. You guys can kind of see what this is gonna look like, but so that's kind of a picture of what it's gonna look like, and then we'll get this vertical piece brought in and anchored in, and then start kind of putting in the final touches on this shelf build out. So we got all of the shelves, or not all of the shelves, but a good chunk of the shelves kind of mocked up in place. We just have that one up top, so kind of where I left you guys last, we anchored down the middle piece here. I just took some screws and went in the side back there and locked it into the wall 1x2s that I had supporting the shelves. Then I came back in on these lower shelves and I attached 1x2s to this vertical piece and then glued it to the wall 1x2. So this is now locked in for both this upper and lower shelf. Then I went ahead and, as I talked about previously, ran that 2.5 inch screw into that corner stud in both my upper and lower shelf. So kind of as we sit now, these shelves are now in place, ready to be anchored down. We got the 1x2 bracing on the vertical section on both pieces. The vertical section is now locked into place, and the upper shelf is sitting in place now. So the next step is going to be to fasten this entirely, lock it in with my upper full length shelf, as well as anchoring it to the middle shelves. And then I'm going to start trimming out the shelf with a 1x2 just to kind of cover up this section here where you're going to see the butt end of the 1x2. So we'll trim out the vertical, and we'll run these horizontally at all the shelves to kind of give it some depth as well. So the next step will be to do that. So I went ahead and got this first trim piece cut to length, and to avoid any visible nails or screws, I just went ahead and glued this. So I just got some tape holding it, but right now, so that 1x2 just kind of cleans up any of these rough edges and just gives it more of a kind of a thick appearance. So we got this vertical one in place, and this horizontal one I haven't glued in place yet, but I wanted to show you guys. So I just went ahead and notched that corner and that corner which allows it to sit flush with this shelf. So I'll just go ahead and we'll glue that in, and then it'll sit flush with this front piece. And then just stepping back, it just really kind of brings it all together. So we'll throw another one there, another one there. We'll do that same detail with the cut so it slips over that wall bracket, and then this will all be done, and then we just have the one shelf up top to do. All right, so final product, we just got the last shelf in place, my upper shelf. So both of the upper tiers are in. The two shelves on the left here are done, and then all of the 1x2 trim is in place. Everything is secured and finalized. So this wraps up the project. Overall, I really like how this turned out, with the stain matching the barn door, and then just the functionality of having this open space on the right with the shelving on the left to allow for more storage. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I might do a second video where I kind of break down the costs of what all this cost me, but hopefully this was helpful as far as how I went about doing this and what it turned out and what it looked like. So thanks for watching, and appreciate any feedback you guys have in the comments down below.